They always told me I was peaking too early. Your lack of buddies is a little concerning. You heard the rumors, now I'm hearing confirming. I made a friend in my 30s.
Oh, shit! Get me!
I've been learning how to do the Brian Johnson vocals.
What are you saying?
Ladies, gents, friends betwixt and beyond the gender binary. Oh shit, welcome to Jam Mechanics.
Welcome to Jam Mechanics. This is a podcast. It's a song challenge podcast hosted by me, Bug from Bug Hunter, and
Matt Johnson from the Narcissist Cookbook. You may recognize me from podcasts such as Jam Mechanics.
Here's what this podcast is. What we do here is we're going to get challenged to write a song. Both of us are professional songwriters. Someone's going to come in here, they're going to tell us what to do, we're going to debate about what we want to do, and then we're going to take 3 hours to go away, and both of us are going to come back with songs to show off to each other, and then eventually to you.
Yeah, and the debate will not take very long. We are masters of our craft. We are master debaters. And
Stupid.
we... Let me just ask, though, did I need to say it, or was the joke implied?
Neither.
Okay, neither.
It was
That's
neither
fair.
for sure.
If we're going to be able to do this, it needs to feel like a safe space. It needs to feel like we know each other well. And if this was a corporate getaway, we'd be throwing a little ball around. We'd be doing trust falls. So I'm going to stand up. Bug, I'm going to fall backwards. And I need you to catch me, okay?
All right. Give me a couple months, and maybe I will do that. I have a question for you. I think this is a perfect way to get to know each other.
Hit me.
This actually will put to the test how well we've gotten to know each other. This is from Faxax from our Discord. Asked if you two got Freaky Friday'd and had to act as the other to avoid suspicion, who would do a better job?
Well, I feel like I only do a passable impersonation of myself. So I legit feel like I'm sort of Freaky Fridaying myself whenever I have to go out in front of a room full of hundreds of people.
I think between the two of us, you would do a better job as me, because to impersonate me... Sorry, my dad is FaceTiming me.
I thought it was going to be like my dad is mowing the lawn.
Hey, you are interrupting a Jam Mechanics.
Hey, Jam Mechanics.
Hi!
You won't have much to edit then. I'll call you back later.
Okay, love you.
I just listened to those 2 songs. They're great.
Oh, thanks.
Hi, Matt.
Yo! You sound so gentle.
Later, taters. I'll turn on Do Not Disturb.
I think the second that I would have to do something bugly, so to speak, the second I would have to be in any way plugged in to an itinerary, the second I would have to open a spreadsheet, the second I'd have to walk on with your trademark youth pastor charming charisma.
Well, I have
I
the
don't know if I'd
opposite
be able to
problem
do it.
because I don't know if I could pull off your vocabulary is a little larger than mine.
Just say fuck a lot.
Yeah.
Really, instead of or your filler word is fucking...
And I know that for a fact because I do edit this podcast and I know exactly what our filler words are.
So yeah, I don't know. Like I genuinely, I have a bit of a phobia of people pretending to be people they're not, which also is weird. Like the times I've tried to do D&D in the past have led to actual. If someone is doing like actual role playing, the further into role playing they get, the more uncomfortable I get. And I have like an actual panic response to it. And at least once I've had to be like, I need to leave and go and lie down in a dark room because I'm looking at your face, but you're not you. And it's stressing me out. Don't like it. I've got a question for you though.
Yeah.
If you were going to have the voice of another singer that wasn't your voice, what kind of voice would you like?
The first one that came to my head, Nate Russo from Format.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Very good singer. And I think I listened to a lot of Fun and a lot of the Format. They were influential. They were an influential band. And also, I feel like in the second Fun album, Nate was like, hey, what does this auto-tune button do? And didn't need to, right? My thought about that album was like, man, there's so much auto-tune on this album and none of it is necessary. It's all stylistic, which is fine. But at the time, auto-tune was especially criticized by a lot of music listeners for being like, oh man, they can't sing, it's just auto-tune.
Like Cher, like that's the classic example of like auto-tune dialed up to maximum and it makes the song, do you believe in life after love? You know that song.
I know. I was about to say I don't know any Cher songs. I couldn't sing one, but I do know that song.
You know Cher songs.
Yeah.
Love me, I want to know. How can you tell if he loved you so? Is it in his eyes?
Oh, I know that one too.
Walking with my feet 10 foot off a bill. We're working. Fuck. Okay, right. So
do AC/DC singing a Cher song.
Do you believe in life after love?
I've lost it.
That's pretty good. No, that was actually pretty good. I like that.
But that's not why we're here today. We're not here. We're here to work. We're not here for pleasure. We're here for business. We have in the Jam Cabin, and I hope at home you're visualizing the Jam Cabin as I visualize it. Mm-hmm. This is a cabin that is, let's say, like 15 feet wide. Maybe like 20 feet tall, and 3,000 miles long. This is snakes across the world.
You've heard of a log cabin. This is a long cabin.
Hey,
we did it.
Oh, that's us for today, folks.
All right, thank you everybody for coming to Jam Mechanics. I've been Bug from Bug Hunter.
And yeah, with us today in the Jam Cabin is the illustrious Robert Evans. You will know Robert Evans of Behind the Bastards fame, of It Could Happen Here, written for Rolling Stone, written for The Guardian, a consultant on domestic terrorism. Is that right?
Once upon a time. I haven't consulted with anyone on much of anything in a while. Now it's just been podcasts for years and years.
We got a quick icebreaker for you. Your podcast, if there's anyone listening to this that doesn't listen to it, your main podcast, Behind the Bastards, is a sort of half comedy, half audio documentary series where you talk about people from the present or from the history that are bastards. Are there any musical bastards that you would like to cover?
Musical bastards. I mean, there are, right? Like, there's a ton of them. Yeah, I like we could cover Michael Jackson, or at least we could talk about that. But also, that's a real bummer of a story. I don't know.
That has never stopped you in the past.
I was about to say, for a show called Behind the Bastards, how many uplifting episodes do you have?
Not that many. I don't know. I feel like Morrissey. You could probably do a Morrissey episode, right?
You could definitely do a Morrissey episode. I think enough time passes between Morrissey making an arse of himself that people forget, and then you get this new generation of people being like, oh, the Smiths are great, and I'm like, yeah, the Smiths are pretty okay, but Morrissey is just an absolute hellhole of a human being.
On the other spectrum of musical bastards, we do have a question that we ask everyone who comes on. What's your jam? Do you have a song or artist that you've just been listening to recently that you just want to give like a shout out to?
Tom Russell. I've been back on a Tom Russell loop lately. Tom is he's like an American country singer who lives kind of down near the border in Texas. He's got a great song called Stealing Electricity that actually reminds me a bit of your song, Matt, The Good Ship You, that I think is still one of my favorite pieces of music. And he's also got he's got kind of a classic country song, Tonight We Ride, that I really like, that's sort of like a Western satire. So yeah, I've been on a pretty hard Tom Russell loop lately.
Let's get some song prompts, and then we can argue about what one we're going to choose.
Yeah. So the format of this is Robert is going to give us two prompts, and then Matt and I are going to debate over which one we want to do. So it's not Matt chooses one, I choose one. We're going to come together and decide on which one of the two that we want to write songs about. So Robert, thank you for joining us today to give us that little push. And so with that, you want to give us your first prompt?
What about the sun kind of looking out at the world as lights continue to get added to it, and wondering, is this the same ball of rocks that I've always known, or is something being born like me out there? Is another sun coming into being? Because there's a little more light every single day, and I can't quite tell.
Yeah, so kind of like the sun watching the earth progress, I guess.
The sun looking at Earth and wondering if something is going on down there. And have you got a second one in the bag so we can argue about it?
You know, the experience of when you've been driving for like 16 hours or so, and you can't quite, you start to lose the ability to tell the difference between like the marks on the road and the lights on the cars ahead of you, and everything sort of like merges into one. Is that a concept for a song?
That is a concept for a song, and I really like that one. And Bug, I might fist fight you.
Oh,
over
are we
this.
fist fighting again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like number 2. Although I will just say, you know, out of a duty of care that I have, that is probably about 14 hours past the point that you should have taken a little nap at the side of the road.
That's very true. Yes. No.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, that's very abstract.
Bug, what do you think?
That's a very kind of, it's very specific but very abstract at the same time in a way that we haven't gotten a prompt like that before. I really like both. If you are passionate about the kind of world, leaving focus as on a long drive or after a long task, I can find something within me to write to that prompt. So I will not stand in your way, Matt.
Okay, fantastic. Driving for a long time and starting to lose the difference between yourself and the universe. Thank you so much, Robert, for joining us. Is there anything you want to plug? Your professional life, your personal life, while you're with us?
We've got a daily news podcast called It Could Happen Here. We're covering the election, and we're trying a real break for us to do so in a way that's slightly more hopeful than a lot of the other stuff you've encountered. And then there's another podcast, Behind the Bastards. That's the worst people in all of history. There's a lot of other shows on our network. Hood Politics by the great Jason Petty. We've got a tech news show, Better Offline by Ed Zitron. Jamie Loftus does 16th Minute of Fame, which covers the folks that went viral on the internet, that were main characters for a while, and what has happened to them in the time since. So check all of that out.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Excited to hear the songs.
Thank you so much for finding time in your day. Enjoy the rest of your day. I need to immediately put on pants, which I'm not wearing, and go down and do my job.
I made a friend in my 30s.
And we are back from the break. Welcome back, everybody. Matt, how was your jam mechanics?
Bug, I'm coming to you live from New York City.
We can't hide the fact, now that we do video episodes, we can't hide the fact that it is not 3 hours later.
I am in a hotel in Times Square. Like, I thought that would be a great idea, and it is a great idea. Bug, have you ever been to Times Square?
I have been to Times Square.
I have never been, obviously, and I've seen it in movies, and I've seen pictures of it, and I was always like, that place looks like it sucks. And then I went there at 1 a.m.
Oh, what were you doing?
I was just walking out of my hotel.
Cool.
That's what I was doing. And I just went, oh, okay, yeah, this place is actually really impressive in a way that cannot be captured. Yeah, I like it here. I'm really impressed by New York.
We weren't able to finish that episode that day, just a various number of things. Then I went on a trip, and Matt flew to America, but we're just recording a couple of days later, just because we are geared up for tour. There's a lot going on in our world right now. We are trying our best to stay on schedule with Jam Mechanics, but that's why we are recording the second half of this a little bit later from a different location.
I have a bunch to say about this track, but I think we should probably just hit play on it, and then this is, I will say in advance, this is abstract. This is and I don't mean thematically abstract. It is thematically too on the nose, but execution-wise, this is a real abstract performance.
Hey, here's a fun one. Hey, Matt, can you hit us with a reminder of what the prompt was? Because I don't remember.
Word for word, Robert's prompt was, so you know when you're driving... It was essentially when you've been driving so long that you sort of start to forget what's real and what's not real.
Yeah, okay. All right. We're going to hit go on White Lines in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
White lines, white lines, electrical wire, white lines, white lines, white lines, electrical wire, white lines, white lines, white lines, The low fuel light's been on for days. I haven't seen another car since I passed the petrol station. Must have been a week or more. Punched in your address, but I don't think I remember. Electrical objects in the mirror disappear as they slip out of view. White lines, electrical
Yeah. Abstract for sure.
So yeah, that was White Lines. Really tried to come up with a better title, but couldn't find anything. First piece of information I will give you about White Lines is my guitar is back here, but it needs new strings, and it's completely out of tune because I had to fly with it. So this was done completely. Everything you're hearing on there is vocals, and I have no idea what key I'm singing in. I just went White Lines, and I was like, that's the key. Of all the songs we've recorded, I think that is the closest one to something I was doing back in 2018 or 2019, where I was trying to write and record a song a day. I've mentioned that, and I would definitely have songs where I was like, this is an abstract painting of an idea, where it's like, what I was trying to do was, you are driving, so you have got white line, white line, white line. You have electrical wires at the side of the road. When you're driving so fast, they look like they're sort of fluid. And then that was the beginning and end of that idea. So I just sort of, and at that point, I figured out the song is in 5/4 time, I think.
You love 5/4 time.
No, it was an accident this time. It's just because I was doing it without a click track as well. So yeah, a bit of a mess. I think it's okay. I think it's I think it's okay for what it is, and it's the kind of thing I can imagine coming back to at some point, but I would need to completely re-record it from the ground up if I was ever going to do anything with it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it gave pattern vibes, just kind of starting with kind of just this like looping vocal line, and then it also made me feel like...
Bug, did it make you feel like you were driving along a road and you'd be driving for so long at night that you didn't know what was real anymore?
I was thinking while I was listening to it, I was like, this kind of feels like I'm driving along a road and I've been driving so long, I don't really know it feels real anymore. I'd say for vibes, yeah, absolutely. I knew when you sent me the lyrics and there was like 6 lines, I was like, oh, this is going to be abstract for sure.
This is going in a folder that I like to call, if you asked me to play this live, I'm going to remove you from the premises. How do you imagine that would go? How do you imagine that would be in the least bit doable?
I mean, you have pulled off the pattern live very, very well. So I have full confidence that you can do anything you want, Matt.
No, thank you very much. I think So I stole low fuel lights been on for days. I stole that from a brand new song, which is called Soco Amaretto Lime, and it's.
We've never tried plagiarism on this podcast before. That might be a cool direction to go in.
No, you can steal a line from a song.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when it's something as vague as low fuel lights been on for days.
That's maybe enough.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the first line that made me go, oh, okay, this has got something, is I punched in your address, but I don't think I remember you, is... and you know what? If that's the only line in the entire track that I like, then that's fine. I did a win.
The one that piqued my interest was, and obviously this kind of goes back to your penchant for world building, right? You got low fuel lights, been on for days, haven't seen another car since I passed the petrol station, right? So far, we're all kind of standard. We're driving, right? It's like I can imagine I'm on a kind of a desolate road. But then the next line is, must have been a week or more. And that was something that piqued my interest, for sure. To be like, oh, a week of you passed a petrol station a week ago and haven't seen a car. That to me was again that world building. They're just like, oh, this is not taking place kind of in the reality that I was thinking it was initially.
I think this sort of takes place in a similar reality to Something's Buried Under Gary, Indiana, which is this is a lost highway situation. You know, this is just you took 5 consecutive lefts on the highway, and now you're on this you're on a sort of Mobius strip highway that's just going and going and going.
Love the Matrix.
That famous scene where Mobius is just like, you wanna see something, Neo? And then puts on.
I love that scene. That was such a good scene where Mobius was like, "You wanna see something, Neo?"
Hey, Neo, you wanna see something? So yeah, that is my song White Lines. I hope you enjoyed a little weird abstract sketch in your ears. And if you weren't listening with headphones on, God knows what your experience was, because this was written for headphones.
I would like to listen to it again with a non-Jam Mechanics critical ear, honestly, because I was active listening to that song as I listened to it, because I'm like, oh yeah, I need to like give feedback, I need to talk about it, I need to like pick out things that, you know, this and that, and I would like to just listen to that song while I'm just kind of walking down the street with my headphones on.
Yep, we are cool to hop over to yours. I have in front of me absolutely nothing.
Cool. Well, the great news is I have it right here, and I'm going to send it to you. This song is called On the Morning Commute. After we got off the call, I needed to go to the post office because I needed to mail some things, and I just had to go very quickly. And so I was driving around, and I was just trying to like soak in everything I was seeing. I landed on something that I feel like is not exactly what the prompt was, but there's definitely driving involved with it, and I feel like I got close enough to the mark that I'm happy.
We're going to go in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
On the morning commute, sing along with the tune. I can throw on a podcast, a radio broadcast, all the things I can do. On the morning commute. The beginning of the day is easy. I have a list of tasks to do. Get up, brush teeth, make toast, eat toast, make bed, don't eat bed, get dressed, required, comb hair. That one is optional. Plenty of structure, and likewise my work day is a breeze. Between meetings that should have been emails and emails that protect me from meetings, I am stimulated all day. Left and right and from every corner of my cubicle, a beautiful hectic chaos that keeps my mind racing and taken up with to-dos. But it is that half hour in between, the damn morning commute. Sing along with the tune. I can throw on a podcast, a radio broadcast, all the things I can do on my morning commute. You know, we don't use what scientists call our active brain when we drive. It's why we can hold conversations with passengers, or illegally, as I found out, on cell phones, or completely space out and realize 10 minutes, 12 miles, and 6 McDonald's later. And that's where you find me. Nowhere to run. Can't even use my hands to defend myself. No amount of NPR or Ariana Grande can drown you out. No crosswords to keep my attention locked down. And you know it.
You say, aha, your melatonin might have saved you last night, but you're legally locked into consciousness now. 30 minutes locked in a Mazda with nothing to properly stop you, so you can buckle up, bud. I've come here to haunt you. So I snuck out last night and went to town like the Grinch of suburbia, climbing every traffic light and shaking the red and yellow glitter out of each one, flipping every stop sign around to its go side, a couple well-placed cones, and now we have 2 northbound freeways, and everyone else going south can just use Waze or something, because I am getting this over with. I painted over all the lane dividers on the way to work and had enough black paint left over to put a tunnel on a cliffside that shaved off another 7 minutes. Funny, isn't it? It took a drive to make me learn my limits.
Oh, that's sick. I love that last verse so much. Grinch of Suburbia, fantastic. There's your 9-minute rock opera right there. I love shaking the glitter out of the red and yellow glitter out of the traffic lights, turning it around to go sides, going full Wile E. Coyote.
I'm glad you picked that up. I was like, I feel like this is obvious, but yeah, I'm glad that was apparent.
Also, in the tradition of this season of you doing things with your vocals that I haven't heard you do before, the way you delivered "I've Come Here to Haunt You" is like you tend to. You're very. I want to say utilitarian in a way that is like a compliment. Like you're like, I have my song and I'm going to sing my song to you now, and you don't tend to do an awful lot of like theatricality to it because most people do not, and you've started doing that more, and that is if not obvious by the stuff that I record, that is so my jam.
Yeah, totally.
That is my jam. You're mechanicking my jam right now.
There was quite a bit of this that I was really, really happy with my delivery, especially that line that "I've come here to haunt you." That felt really, really good. The beginning, I was kind of struggling. This was all one take. This was a single take song. I added some guitar and piano over it, but I was only able to really have time to do one take. There's no tempo, and so the beginning, I was kind of very kind of rough on the delivery. I just listening back to it, I'm like, gosh, I would deliver that in a totally different way with a little bit of practice. So rough around the edges, but I think that by the end of the song, I had settled in to kind of how I wanted it to sound. I was very happy with both kind of that second verse and especially the ending verse. That was kind of that's what I was leading up to when I was driving around thinking of the song. That's the imagery that was in my head that I kind of worked backwards towards. My first initial thing was I was looking at the stoplights and I was looking at the stop signs and I was like, creating this imagery in my head of like, what if someone climbed up and just shook all the red and yellow out of it and it flipped the stop signs around to their go side. And I was like, why would they be doing that? Because they're in a hurry, right? They're wanting their drive to be over and not caring about the chaos that caused in their wake. And so I worked backwards from there. My intention was to come at a song where the antagonist is very, very abstract and unclear. For me, the song is about how I'm always having to kind of busy my brain to not sit and think and let intrusive thoughts into my head that bum me out.
I like this a lot. I especially for like a live take that is sick, and I am in the privileged position of hearing the changes that you make when you redraft things and send them to me, and I think if you ever get around to redrafting this, I'd be really interested to see what your bug brain does when you're like, I'm going to tighten this up and make it actually what I want it to be.
I think as a concept, I'm really happy with it. Like I said, execution in the first half was a little shaky. There's just a couple of flub lines that I'm not happy with, but hopefully people can kind of see what I was doing, and that the payoff at the end. I don't know if the end is what it is. I feel like I got there and I felt like I've said enough about this. Like I don't need to be explicit about what this song is actually saying. It really is just about somebody trying to outrun quiet moments, so that they don't dwell on like hurtful things. And I feel like that song does it.
Do you ever find yourself just like, so yeah, you're driving, you've forgotten to put on a podcast, and you just end up going skidoop, squidip. But I find I get like a phrase like stuck between my teeth, and I'll just start saying that phrase over and over again. I had one when I was walking around the streets the other day, and it was the streets of New York City, of New Yorkshire, Bug, and I had forgotten to bring my headphones, so I had walked past some belligerent construction workers, which is such a movie trope, and I got very excited because they were just like, "Hey, you got time!" And I'm like, "I saw you guys in Die Hard with a Vengeance. You're about," And so I started, and I'm so sorry to everybody who's about to hear me do this, but I honestly spent like half an hour in my head, under my breath, not in my head, under my breath, being like. So dumb. Being like, 29th Street? Bozo, you'll be lucky to get down to 29th Street before Christmas. I got papers from the mayor.
That's such a long phrase to get fixated on, Matt.
No. I was just saying it over and over again. And so I got, it was absolutely obnoxious, and I'm so sorry to everybody. I'm so sorry to everyone. But yeah, that's what happens when I don't have anything to listen to. I have to create my own stimulation.
That's what Jam Mechanics is for all you people trying to keep the void out of your ears. We're a podcast you can listen to.
Don't have thoughts, listen to Jam Mechanics.
That's a very good tagline. Cool. Are we cool to wrap things up then?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed our two. We got pretty weird with it today. If you want to let us know what you thought, get in our inboxes. You can email me at tnc@jammechanics.com. You can email Bug at bug@jammechanics.com. You can email both of us at hello@jammechanics.com. Bug, tell them everything I forgot to say.
We are on tour currently. I think we are... we're just finishing up kind of the upper Midwest and East Coast. We still have the South to go. So if you live in Texas, if you live in Florida, if you live in Georgia, Oklahoma City, come to a show. We're going to be in the South, the U.S. South. That's where we're going to be in September. And then if you haven't heard, we're also going to be in Europe in October and slightly November. It's not a Jam Mechanics tour. None of these are Jam Mechanics tours, but sometimes we play Jam Mechanics things. Most of it is just our published Bug Hunter and the Narcissist Cookbook music, which we mentioned on this podcast because you ostensibly like us.
Oh God. It's you
mine.
doing a song. It's thank God, because I don't have anything. I was
really hoping. I was like so hoping we were going to record the second half of this while I was in San Diego and you were home, so that I would be like, well, I can't do anything. I don't have any instruments. But
Bug, you got to play us out.
Strategically waited until I had my ukulele again. Matt is in New York. No, hold on. Matt is in New York and is having a good time. I can't write these.
No, Bug, you're getting in your head about it. No wrong answers.
There's so many wrong answers to this question. Unbelievable how many times I mess it up. This is an example of one of those times.
Yeah, I was looking at the chords you were playing, and I'm like, what key is this song in?
I don't even know if my ukulele is tuned. Let me give it one more go. Hold on.
Okay, no. Okay, you just gotta, don't think about it. Let the genius low-key of Bug's recording room just flow through you. Done it. Hit record. We're done.
They always told me I was peaking too early. Your lack of buddies is a little concerning. You heard the rumors, now I'm hearing confirming. I made a friend in my 30s.